everyone. Now, whether you're already enrolled in Medicare or just approaching that magic age of 65, knowing what to do or even where to begin can be very confusing. So here to help us understand the basics of Medicare and answer your questions is the one and only Bob Gunia. Welcome back, Bob.
Welcome, Bob. Good to be back.
Good to see you.
It's
Nice
good
to
to
meet
see
you.
you because you always clear up so many questions we have, and this stuff can get really confusing.
Yes, it can.
So that magic number of 65, people are working well past 65 these days. Is that still sort of the sweet spot?
Great question. There's a lot of magic in 65.
Okay.
Especially think of the people who have individual health coverage. It's not tied to a group plan. When they turn 65, there's major savings for joining the Medicare program. And dare I say that I don't think you can really call people who turn 65 old.
I know. I agree with you.
And I think you got some photos of people that I wouldn't call them old.
No, I mean,
Well,
Pierce
let's see.
Brosnan, He's
Look at him.
65. He's
Look at that guy.
Yeah.
If I could look half that good
Ready
at
to be called.
65.
Tim Allen.
Right.
He looks amazing.
Yeah.
And wait
And
a
still
minute.
working, and all these people still working,
Cindy
keeping busy.
Lauper. Girls Just Want to Have Fun. She was just on tour this year. I mean,
She's looking
Looking amazing.
fantastic, for sure.
65 years young is what it is.
Yeah,
these
so there's a
days.
lot of opportunities and possibilities when you turn 65.
Okay, great. Well, we recently asked our viewers their questions about Medicare, so let's just dive right in.
Okay.
Here's the first question right here. It's from Hallie D. Pfeiffer Burton from Dublin, Virginia, and she asks, do I have to take Medicare? Are there different plans?
Great question, Haley. For many folks, it's a brand new situation when you're hitting retirement, and Medicare is a foreign name to some, and are the other options. The short of the answer is no, you don't have to take Medicare, but virtually everyone will want to because you've been paying into that program ever since you've been employed with those payroll taxes, and so it's a great benefit. And on top of that, the programs that other people may be familiar with, they all kind of wrap around Medicare. And so just a couple examples. One, TRICARE. So if you're in the military, that's your health benefit plan. And then when you retire, you get TRICARE for life. Well, TRICARE for life wraps around the Medicare program. The Medicare program really is the chassis that all the other health retirement programs build upon. And
Interesting.
Then the final thing would be Medicaid, too. And so Medicaid is the program that we hear about. Sometimes it gets confused with Medicare.
Right.
But it's for those that can't afford the health coverage. Now, when you turn to 65, Medicaid wraps around Medicare. So
That's why it's so confusing.
Yeah, exactly. But Medicare post-65, it is the chassis for retirement health
Okay,
coverage.
that's good to know.
Okay, so what is offered in the original Medicare plan then?
The original Medicare plan is comprised of two very important parts. The first is Part A.
Okay.
And Part A is your hospital benefits. And it's where most of the money is spent. It is where the payroll taxes that you've been paying into funds Part A. And so it's very, very important. For Part B, it's your doctor's visits, your office visits. And that is funded primarily through a subsidy from the government, so about 75% of the cost. But then 25% of the cost roughly is shared by consumers, by the seniors. And so you're paying a monthly premium in order to have Part B benefits.
Okay.
Part A is free, though. Well, free. You've paid into it.
You paid into it, yeah.
That's a good question because there are some deductibles, and with Part A and Part B, Medicare roughly covers about 80% of your expenses. So there are some gaps that need to be filled as well as part of original Medicare.
Well, now that we know what the basic coverage you can get from Medicare, let's go to the next question here. This is from Diane Sullivan from Independence, Missouri, and she wants to know, what is a Medicare Advantage plan, and how is it different than typical Medicare? Good
question. Medicare Advantage is relatively new. It's been around for almost a couple of decades, getting close to there. And Medicare Advantage is a private option to original Medicare. So if you think of it this way, Medicare has the money, and they provide a certain dollar amount to these Medicare Advantage plans to provide benefits in the hopes that maybe there's a different configuration or maybe some cost savings to the consumers. What's most important for everyone who's watching to realize is that there are trade-offs. And so if you go to a Medicare Advantage plan, you could have lower premiums, but in order to get those, they have network restrictions. And so Medicare Advantage is more closely like an HMO or a PPO.
Got it.
And so you have to know what network you are, and it can limit, if you're traveling, the benefits that you need.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have an A, we have a B.
And a C.
And a C, but also a D.
Yes.
So what's happening with the C and the D?
Prescription drug coverage. And so that's an important benefit that's on top of,
super important.
It's part of the Medicare program.
Yeah.
And the best advice I give to anyone who's looking for a really good Part D is you go out to Medicare.gov and you put in your prescriptions, the medicine that you're on. And it comes up with options in your area that are most affordable based on the type of medication that you're taking.
Okay.
And because, over time as you get older, you might have another chronic condition or something you need, you can change it on a year-to-year basis.
Okay.
Based on what formula best meets your needs.
Well, that's good. All right. That's good to hear.
Now, obviously, Medicare covers a variety of different issues. So let's go to the next question here from Diane Easter Burnett from Providence Forge, Virginia. And she would like to know, what is the best supplemental plan that will cover what Medicare does not, dental and vision, without breaking the bank?
Yeah, great question. And as we said earlier, Medicare covers about 80% of the cost. And so there is a gap there. At Physicians Mutual, we offer Medicare supplement policies, and it is a way to fill those gaps so that it becomes seamless. You go to a doctor's visit or you have something that you need in the hospital, we take care of the deductibles, the co-pays. And as a part of the Medigap offering, there are choices that people can have, but they're all standardized plans. And what's really important too is to keep in mind that Medicare this is insurance jargon I'm going to use.
Okay.
Guaranteed renewable. And all that means is we can't cancel it, we can't change it.
Okay.
Which is one of the differences with the Medicare Advantage plan.
Absolutely.
Where they can change it year to year, and then you have an option to change plans. Well, if you're looking for that extra stability, that's very important. And then one final bit of advice, which I think is good for all consumers. When you're purchasing a Medicare supplement policy, ask the carrier for their rate increase history. We've all experienced probably different things that we purchase where you get a low introductory rate.
Sure.
This is
They
awesome.
all do that.
Sign me up.
Sure, everybody does
But what's the rate for year 2, 3, 4, and 5? So ask the company, tell me
For
what's
their
the
history
rate.
of that.
Exactly.
That is such a great tip. I feel like they'd be offended if I asked them.
You really should. And
It's up to us. It's our right. It's our right to ask.
I know.
But I'm with you.
I'm sure I'm not alone where you'd ask that and you'd feel rude for asking. But you should know.
Yes,
we need to be
absolutely.
in the know. Well, we have one final question from you, and this one is not from my home state of Virginia. This one's actually from New York. This one's from Ann Thompson from East Hills, New York, and she asks, Bob, how old do you have to be to start Medicare, and when and how do you apply?
Great question. So Medicare starts at age 65. That's when you become eligible. And so if you are already scheduled to receive Social Security benefits beginning at age 65, or if you took it earlier, beginning in 62, Social Security automatically enrolls you in both Part A and Part B.
That's automatic.
Okay.
Automatic. Now, if you haven't tapped into Social Security and maybe you're waiting to, like, say, age 67, but you still want Medicare at age 65, then you have to apply for it. And you get a window of a 7-month period of time to apply.
Okay.
So think of the 7th month as this: your birth month. 3 months before and 3 months after is the window when you can apply for Medicare and Part B insurance. One final thing, and just, it's not insurance unless you add a little bit of extra wrinkle in terms of confusion, but if you're employed and you're working past age 65, and you get good coverage through your employer, it's still a good idea to enroll in Part A because you don't pay a premium for that.
Sure, why not?
But Part B is one where maybe you wait until you need full Medicare Part A and B when your group coverage ends. If that's your case, you have an 8-month period after you retire, no matter what age, 65, 66, 67, to enroll in these programs.
Okay. You're just a wealth of information. I'm telling you right now.
I mean,
so good.
Everything seems so simple.
And
break it
before,
down like this.
I feel like is there anything else you'd like to
Something exciting.
share with us?
So the Hallmark Channel, you guys are the heart of Christmas and everything else that
the
comes
heart
out.
of television,
And so it is just, we're tapping into that special time. We have a cheer box, the Physicians Mutual. If you go to Physicians Mutual/Hallmark, where you can nominate a nursing home or skilled nursing facility, and it's going to be packed with games, Hallmark movies, and basically it's to really address loneliness. I mean, there's a tremendous amount of happiness during that period of time. For some people, it can be lonely too if they don't have a lot of loved ones. And so this is to instill a little cheer.
That's a beautiful thing.
Bob, thank
Apply
you
through November
so
12th.
much. You were so wonderful, and thank you for being here, and thank you for always enlightening us.
Thank you.
I always feel so much better after I've spoken to Bob Gunia. It's true. For more information about choosing Medicare after retirement, visit physiciansmutual.com.
Home and Family, weekday mornings at 10 on Hallmark Channel, the heart of TV.